Before the first tree, before the first dinosaur, even before the first blade of grass, there was the shark. Now picture the Earth 400 million years ago. There are no trees, no flowers, no grass, no birds, nothing you would recognize as a forest. The land is almost bare rock and moss. But look into the oceans and you would already see something familiar gliding through the water. A shark, already perfected, already almost exactly what it still is today. It's almost impossible to get a grip on how long sharks have actually existed. We throw around numbers like 400 million years as if they meant something to us, but our brain cannot actually process how long of a time that really is. So let's try it a different way. Imagine you squeeze the entire Earth's history into a single calendar year. On that scale, human beings would not show up until the last 30 minutes of December the 31st. Every war, every king, every invention you've ever heard of would happen in the final few seconds before midnight. The shark would have been swimming since around September. Back then, the planet barely had any life on land at all. The continents were bare, strange, and mostly silent. There were no leaves to fall because there were no trees to grow them. The tallest living thing on land was a patch of moss you could step over without even noticing. The planet was almost entirely covered by oceans, and the ocean already belonged to the shark. Here's the part that breaks most people's sense of time. We think of trees as the oldest, most permanent things in nature. A tree feels like it's always been there, but trees are newcomers. The first real trees did not appear until around 385 million years ago. Sharks had beaten them by roughly 65 million years. Let that sink in for a moment. 65 million years on its own is longer than the entire stretch of time that has passed since the dinosaurs died. And that's only the head start sharks had before the first tree even existed. When the earliest sharks appeared, there was not a single forest anywhere on the planet. So the famous line has it backwards. The shark is not as old as the trees. The trees are nowhere near as old as the shark. But surviving that long is not just about showing up early. It's about refusing to die when almost everything else does. Life on Earth has come close to ending 5 separate times. Scientists call them the 5 mass extinctions, and every one of them has its own horror story. The worst event happened around 250 million years ago. We call it the Great Dying. In what counts geologically as an instant, roughly 96% of all the life in the ocean was wiped out. Almost everything that swam, crawled, or drifted in the sea simply stopped existing. It is the closest life on this planet has ever come to ending completely. The oceans turned acidic and ran out of oxygen. Reefs collapsed into rubble. Whole branches of the tree of life were snapped off and never grew back. The shark swam through it all. They survived each mass extinction. The catastrophe that killed the dinosaur, the one before that, and even the one before that one. Whatever fell from the sky, whatever poisoned the air, whatever froze or boiled the world, the shark just kept swimming. And it gets stranger, because they did not merely survive, they barely changed. We treat the age of dinosaurs as the ancient past, the deep prehistoric, the oldest thing a child can picture. But To a shark, the dinosaurs were practically a recent event. By the time the very first dinosaur appeared, sharks had already ruled the oceans for over 200 million years. They were old before the dinosaurs were even born. So sharks watched the dinosaurs arrive. They watched them grow into the largest animals ever to walk the land. And then they watched them vanish, erased in a single terrible afternoon. To the shark, the entire reign of the dinosaurs, all 160 million years of it, was just something that happened in the middle of its life. A phase, a chapter. The dinosaurs were a guest that arrived late and left early, and the shark was there to see them in and see them out again. As mentioned before, the shark barely changed at all. So why didn't they change? Almost every other creature that survives across that much time becomes something you would never recognize. But if you could look at a shark that lived 360 million years ago, you would instantly know what it was. The fins, the torpedo-shaped body, the rows of teeth. It's already unmistakably a shark. The reason for this is almost unsettling. The shark barely ever changed because it did not need to. Evolution is not trying to improve things forever. It mostly tinkers with what is failing. And the shark, astonishingly early, simply got the design right. Cartilage instead of heavy bone, so it never stops moving. Skin built from millions of tiny teeth, like living armor. Senses so sharp they can feel a single heartbeat through open water. Sharks can even pick up the faint electrical field that every living body quietly gives off, which means that a shark can sense you before it can even see you. Almost none of these attributes and skills have needed a real upgrade in hundreds of millions of years. While the rest of life was still learning the alphabet, the shark was already a finished sentence. Now, before you picture one immortal shark that has been swimming since the dawn of time, here's the honest catch. No shark alive today is 450 million years old. The great white shark, the one you're almost certainly imagining right now, is only a few million years old as a species itself. Most of the sharks in the ocean belong to families that appeared far more recently than that. However, what is 450 million years old is not a single animal, but its blueprint. The idea of a shark has been handed down unbroken from one generation to the next, through every extinction and every drowned continent, all the way to the fin cutting through the water this summer. The thing that is ancient is not the creature, but rather its design. And that design has never once been improved enough to replace it. And there is one even stranger small thing sitting on top of all of this. Some sharks barely age within a single lifetime either. In the freezing dark of the North Atlantic swims the Greenland shark, an animal that can live for around 400 years. Think about what that means. There are individual sharks in the ocean right now that were born before your country existed, that were already swimming when your great-great-great-grandparents had not yet been imagined. The design is ancient, and some of the animals wearing it nearly are too. And here's another little cool fun fact. If you put your own timeline next to the sharks, everything you think of as history fits into a thin sliver at the very end. The pyramids, ancient Rome, every empire in every textbook. All of it happened in the last few thousand years. Modern humans have existed for maybe 300,000 years in total. The shark has been on this planet more than 1,000 times longer than that. To put this into perspective, if the shark's existence were squeezed into a single day, all of human history, every story you've ever been told, would fit into the last few seconds before midnight. Sharks were already swimming before the continents even took their current shape. The supercontinent, Pangaea, came together, lasted for over 100 million years, and then tore itself apart into the continents you know today. All of that while sharks kept hunting in the water around it. The Atlantic Ocean itself, yes, the entire ocean, is younger than the shark. We look at a map of the world as if it's a fixed, permanent thing. However, the shark was there to watch this map get drawn. We build our whole sense of the world around the quiet assumption that we are the main characters. That all of this was somehow leading up to us. We look at sharks and call them primitive, living fossils, leftovers from an older, rougher world. But we have it completely backwards. The shark is not the leftover. We are the newcomers. The ocean was full of perfected, ancient life for hundreds of millions of years before the first human ever took a breath. And it will almost certainly still be full of it long after the last one is gone. So the next time you see a shark on a screen or in the water or anywhere at all, try to remember what you're actually looking at. Not a monster, not a relic. You're looking at something that was already old when the world itself was young. Something that has watched forests appear from bare rock, watched dinosaurs rise and fall, watched whole oceans open up beneath it. It has seen almost the entire story of life on Earth, and we have only just walked in at the very end, right before the credits.